You mentioned 40 time for Kelvin Harmon. Well, let's talk to a guy who had as good a 40 time as anyone who's ever played in the National Football League. The Hall of Famer, the 7-time Pro Bowler, a former All-Pro, and a multi-time Super Bowl champion, a Walter Payton Man of the Year as well. Darrell Green is with us. Mr. Green, it's Grant Paulson and Pete Medhurst. How are you, sir?
Hey, man, I'm feeling bad. I felt like I haven't talked to you guys in years, even though it's probably been maybe a year or so. But how you guys doing? I hope you're doing well. Your families are doing well.
Doing very well, sir. Everything is good on our end. A lot to get to with you today. I guess let's just start with the obvious big story in town, and that is the Redskins name changing. When you heard the news yesterday that it's official, the name and the logo will be retired, what was your reaction?
Celebratory, grateful, happy. I think Mr. Snyder made the right choice. I think he puts us in position to move forward. I think he puts us in position to begin a process that I talk about as it relates to where first of all, human beings are the most awesome of all of God's creation, so they should have first place. As you all know, they don't have first place. There are many things that people pit ahead of human beings. That's why you have wars, and that's why you have poor people. That's why you have a lot of issues across the world. But I think that these type of decisions is a step that brings us back to a place where we can say, you know what, human beings are the most important element in all of human existence. It makes me celebrate that for that very purpose, that we're saying, you know what, these people matter to me. These people care. Yeah, red, yellow, black, and white, they are precious in God's sight. And so we're coming back. We were created in God's image, and we're going to start treating each other like the God, who our Father who's in heaven, who created us. We're going to make our daddy happy by treating each other with love. If you have children, what is the thing you want? Those kids to get along. You guys get along now. Play together. That's what a parent wants. They're happy when their babies are playing good and happy together and laughing and sharing. And so we've been bad children. And it's not just 400 years. It's way before that. Cain killed Abel. So it starts way before that. So I think that this is a small step toward giving us an opportunity to say, you know what, above everything else, including, and I've been reading this all day today, because I looked up this question about this word nostalgia, because people, and I know you guys are big-time scholars, so you don't have to look up stuff, but nostalgia means a sentimental longing or wistful affection for the past, typically for a period or place with happy personal associations. That's what it means. And so I'm not concerned about having affection for a past, some personal place or thing. I'm more concerned about having a present where we're loving one another and caring for one another and treating people with respect, no matter what their skin color and who they are. And so that's a world that I want my grandbabies to live in. And so this decision is bigger than Darrell Green and my jerseys and all that stuff. And remember that play and remember that play. So, no, I'm pretty fired up about it, and I'm grateful. And I think this man has done one of his greatest things since he's on this team. This puts him at another level.
How long, Darrell, have you felt that way about the team name? I mean, when you play, it's obviously, we've talked to guys, they say it's uncomfortable to talk about it when you play for the team. I mean, have you felt for a while like they needed to change the name? Is this something you've talked to Dan about in the past?
No, absolutely not. I'm like everybody else. It's interesting. I'm from Texas, and the president said that he was the one that made everybody be aware of the Juneteenth, where that Texas, 2.5 years later got recognized that slavery was over. So, no, I didn't have that revelation back then. And also, when you look at the idea that, how long it took Dan to do it, I'm not concerned about that either. I didn't have an insight about this until later in my career. In my early career and throughout my life, 37 years here, I've always heard African-American men from other teams. Elderly men talk about how they hated the Redskins. George Preston Marshall. Obviously, I've talked to local people all the way from the Carolinas in this region, talking about how they could never be a Redskin fan because of George Preston Marshall, and they didn't get the black player Bobby Mitchell till the government stepped in. And so I've always heard that, but the Native American piece wasn't as big when I was there. But I'm not even concerned about that. It's kind of like the scripture tells us about a man who told one son to go out in the field and do some work, and he said, "Yes, sir, Dad." And the other kid said, he had to the next kid, he said, "Hey, son, go out and do some work." And he said, "No, sir, Dad, I'm not going." But at the end of the day, the one who said no went, and the one who said yes didn't. Which one obeyed the father? And so I'm just grateful for the obedience, for the yes, not so much of what was said or what wasn't said or when I got it or when the revelation hit me. We're all getting revelation. I didn't have a revelation about all of the Confederate military bases and Confederate statues, Confederate flags, but I'm glad that I got a revelation now. I'm sure glad. And people, there's an enlightenment, a lightning taking place. Eyes are being opened, ears are being opened, where people are seeing truth, seeing these atrocities. White people are starting to, not have to feel condemned to say, hey, this is what's up. Talking to their fellow African American friends or what have you, and saying, man, I didn't realize that. And they shouldn't be penalized for not realizing it, but now and then you respond. And so, a long story short, yes, I wasn't really heavy on that as a youngster. Even as I knew about what those people would tell me about how the team. They even said that the old song used to be "Fight for Old Dixie." That's what I heard. I can't validate that, but I heard they would even say that. So there's a lot of stuff here, but this decision can help us move past any and all of that stuff and get us to a new place where we're saying the people, the care and concern for people is more important than the nostalgia and the history and the excitement of what we did on this childhood game.
Talking with Hall of Famer Darrell Green here on 106.7 The Fan. Darrell, the toughest time to get people to listen is when there are significant financial ramifications. Based on Dan doing this, does it represent at least a step in the right direction that he opened his ears here, and all we have asked of people of late is to listen, and Dan has apparently done that despite potential financial ramifications, both positive and potentially negative, as a result of this name change?
That's why I applaud him. I'm not looking at the why. I'm just looking at the do. The boy who said I'm not did it. That's the boy who did it. I'm so excited that Dan has done it. That man, he's pulled the trigger. And so now we can move forward. We can say that people matter. We can say that all races of people matter. You can say that these people, we are sorry for that. We apologize for that. We can start having these conversations, about that. And people say, well, man, what about all your stuff? Well, I'm not going to put anything past people. I'm not going to say that my memory or my helmet or my jersey, that I'm going to say, well, hey, look, now, let me say this, because you may even ask this. There's going to be some people who just say they're just not buying it. Look, some people have gotten buried in my jersey. Some people got moments and memories where their mama, their daddy, their grandfather, my grandfather was in the hospital when y'all played this game and this, that, and they're crying, my grandfather, and, and they may show up with their jersey on. Look, it's a difference to show up to an autograph session, a Redskin autograph session back in the day, and wearing a Cowboy jersey where you're really trying to say up our butts, versus saying, hey, man, I'm wearing this because of just my heart, man, for my dad. I'm not trying to belittle or hurt anybody. I'm just trying to show up today. So I think there's a conversation that people can have, but we come to a place of civility. We come to a place of love and respect that now we can move forward. But the team as a whole, it's their responsibility to do what they have done. But in the conversation of people, if you got people calling and cussing and disrespectful, then you know what? They're not the ones. That's not what we're trying to get to. We're trying to get to a place of love and respect And people can call that corny, but don't you think we need that? Don't you think the world could use a little bit of, just a little cup of love right now?
I don't know how anyone, Darrell Green, could disagree with that. The Pro Football Hall of Famer is with us on Grant and Danny. I want to go back to that nostalgia point because it's interesting, and as you'd imagine, it's something we're hearing from a lot of fans. Many of them are perfectly fine changing the name. Some are endorsing changing the name. Others are sad. What do you say? I mean, what will you do with your Redskins stuff? Some of the things that you've kept. I mean, what will you do with those items? And what do you say to people who say that the memory of watching you grab your rib cage or chase down Tony Dorsett, that they were with their dad or their grandpa, and it's changed forever if the Redskins are gone? What do you say to that?
Well, you're saying a few things. Number one, when I jumped over the guy in Chicago, and I was playing for the team in Washington, and we won the game. So they don't have to worry about that. That's not going to go anywhere. It's only now kept in video, and it's kept in our memories. So that's just that. In terms of what I'm going to do, I'm free. I'm free in my heart to let go of everything I have. I haven't made any kind of decision on where and how and what I'm going to do, but ultimately, I think that it would be a part of the process would be to move on. I want the new helmet. I want a new 28. I want a new jersey. I want a new helmet. I want a new pitcher. I want everything. I want everything to be new. I'm ready to go to the new place, a new place where when you see it, it's going to represent that, you know what? These people care about people. When you wear that jersey, you're going to say, hey, these people care about people. You know, when I wear my mask, my daughter lives in Orlando. She came here, and she said, Dad, I went to the store, and you guys, everybody had on gloves and masks. And she said, and down in Florida, where they're blowing up with deaths, they don't wear anything. Well, you know what? Up here, we say, when I walk in front of you with my mask, I says, hey, how you doing? I love you. I'm just trying to protect you. And guess what? When you wear yours, you say, hey, how you doing? I love you, and I'm trying to protect you and your family too. And so when we do these things, it's going to say something. When we wear the new jersey, we wear the new shirt, the new hat, it's going to say something. It's going to say something before they win one game. It's going to say, hey, you know what? I love you guys. I love mankind. I love my fellow citizens. I love Native Americans. I love African Americans. I love white Americans. I love people, and I care about you. That's what it's going to say. That's what it's going to say. And when that person does wear it, because his grandfather, he remember his death, and he hope he's not saying that. He's saying, and we may not be able to get his story, but we trust, just like when he's wearing a mask in the store, that he's saying without saying, hey, just trying to protect you, just caring about you. Don't want your children to get sick. Don't want your grandmother to get sick at home. And so that's the thing that I think will take place with this if we do it right and if we talk about it and if we communicate it. But those people, and you guys have that a lot of times, when you got these people calling in, they've got no morals, no integrity, no love, no concern, no care. They just don't care. And so they need to drink a gallon of love. They need to drink a little love, and maybe y'all can start to share that as well, to say, guys, look, let's do this. Let's make sure that we representing something. Nobody is mad at you for feeling it. Oh, man, but I love that one play, and it reminds me of my grandfather, man, because it was me and him, and we were sitting out in the garage, and Darrell Green ran this. Man, I'm not trying to be mad at you for that. But by the same token, we have the capacity to be able to walk and chew gum at the same time and say, hey, but I hear this. I understand this too. And, man, I want me one of them new jerseys. I'm going to wear one of them, man, and they're going to represent that, hey, man, but, hey, I'm feeling it for my grandfather and our memories. But you know what, man, I'm really feeling it for, hey, the country is moving to a new place. People are moving to a new place. Consideration for people is in today. Love is in today. Kindness and care is in today. And so I don't know. I'll do something with mine too, because I want the new stuff. I want the new stuff, and I'm grateful for the job I had for 20 years and what we were able to do. But you know what? I'm glad we're moving on. And I'm glad that for the reason we're moving on. And I'm looking forward to everybody over time getting on board, but being based out of love and concern for people. So if they're fighting any other fight, let them fight it. I only want to hear the ones who say, man, I'm down with this caring about people thing.
Well, I'll tell you what, you should be one of the first people in the shipment of New Jerseys that goes out because of what you've done for this organization. Darrell, we'd love to keep chatting with you, buddy. We're up against the clock here. Appreciate the time so much, and thanks for hopping on with us.
Guys, always, I appreciate you guys. Y'all be blessed. Have a safe one. Stay safe.